Buckingham Palace has gone completely silent, and not in the way it usually does. According to multiple reports circulating right now, doctors have released what sources are calling an urgent update on King Charles's condition, and the details are far more layered than what most headlines are telling you. I've been following this story since the very beginning, and let me tell you, the gap between what the viral headlines are screaming and what is actually happening is absolutely enormous. So before you spiral into worry, stay with me, because what I'm about to break down is going to put a lot of this into real perspective. And honestly, some of it is going to surprise you. Let's go back to early 2024. Buckingham Palace made an announcement that sent shockwaves across the United Kingdom and frankly the entire world. King Charles III had been diagnosed with cancer. Now here's the part that a lot of people missed in the initial panic. The cancer was reportedly discovered early, and according to official statements, it was not prostate cancer, even though it was found during treatment for an enlarged prostate. Think about that for a second. The very procedure meant to address one issue ended up revealing something else entirely. The palace described it as a fortunate discovery given the circumstances. And yet online, the headlines were practically writing his eulogy by sundown. That's not journalism, that's theater. And unfortunately, we've all been watching that theater play out on repeat ever since. Now the question you're probably asking is, what exactly is this urgent update that sources are referring to? Here's where it gets interesting. According to reports from royal watchers and media sources, the update is not, and I want to be very clear here, it is not confirmed to be a sudden deterioration or a new crisis. What sources claim is that the update relates to an adjustment in the king's ongoing treatment schedule and a gradual return to more visible public duties. In other words, the news may actually be leaning positive. But of course, that wouldn't get nearly as many clicks, would it? I'm being a little sarcastic here, but honestly, it's worth saying out loud because this pattern has been going on for months. What makes this story so emotionally charged, and why headlines keep referring to tears inside the palace, is the broader context that the entire royal family has been navigating. It is alleged by multiple sources that the simultaneous health concerns of several senior royals created a genuinely heavy atmosphere inside royal circles. Queen Camilla, according to reports, took on a significant number of additional public responsibilities during the king's recovery, a quiet, steady display of support that rarely gets the dramatic headline treatment it actually deserves. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, also reportedly stepped into a more prominent role during key royal engagements, representing the monarchy at moments where his father previously would have appeared. And then, of course, there was Prince Harry, who, according to widely reported accounts, briefly traveled back to the United Kingdom after learning of his father's diagnosis. Whether that visit led to any genuine family reconciliation is, as of now, not officially confirmed. But it did signal something, that despite everything that has played out publicly between Harry and the rest of the family, a health crisis has a way of cutting through the noise. Here's something I genuinely find remarkable about this entire situation, and I say this as someone who spends a lot of time analyzing how institutions communicate. Buckingham Palace actually chose transparency. Previous generations of the royal family were notorious for keeping medical issues almost entirely private. The idea that a sitting monarch would publicly announce a cancer diagnosis would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. But King Charles's team made the decision to be open, carefully open, yes, but open nonetheless. The goal, according to sources familiar with the palace's communication strategy, was to maintain public trust without triggering mass alarm. And for the most part, I think they walked that line pretty well. The official statements remained calm, factual, and measured, even when the media coverage around them was anything but. Now let's talk about what the king has actually been doing during all of this, because this part gets left out of almost every dramatic headline. According to reports, even during the period when he stepped back from public appearances, King Charles continued reviewing government documents, holding private meetings with officials, communicating with the Prime Minister, and fulfilling his constitutional responsibilities. The man did not stop working. That is actually remarkable when you think about it. Someone undergoing cancer treatment, managing the weight of the crown, and still showing up for the job in every way he could. Say what you will about the institution of monarchy, and there is plenty to debate there, but that level of commitment is genuinely hard to dismiss. And here's where I want to give you my honest analysis because I think it matters. The British monarchy operates on something very powerful, the idea of continuity. The institution has survived wars, abdications, public scandals, and global crises. It is specifically designed not to collapse when one person faces difficulty. Prince William is the heir. Other members of the family are active. The constitutional machinery keeps moving. So when you see a headline screaming that the entire palace is in tears and the monarchy is on the brink, take a breath. That framing is almost certainly amplified for emotional effect. It is not to say that the situation isn't serious, because it genuinely is. A reigning monarch dealing with cancer is a significant and sobering reality, but serious is not the same as catastrophic. What I find a bit troubling, and I'll be direct about this, is how easily these exaggerated headlines spread, and how much unnecessary anxiety they generate in people who genuinely care about the king's well-being. I've seen comments from viewers who were convinced, based on these titles, that King Charles had passed away. He has not. According to all available reports and official communications, the king has been responding to treatment and has been gradually resuming duties. That is the factual picture, as best as we currently understand it. Anything beyond that is speculation dressed up as breaking news. Social media algorithms reward drama. Platforms boost content that generates strong emotional responses: fear, shock, sadness. A calm, accurate headline like "King Charles continues recovery and resumes limited duties" is never going to outclick "The entire palace is in tears." And that's a genuinely strange situation we've all ended up in, where the more accurate story is somehow less visible than the more alarming one. It's worth being aware of that dynamic every single time you see a headline about a public figure's health. So let me bring this full circle. According to sources, the most recent update on King Charles reflects a picture of ongoing treatment, careful management of royal duties, and a royal family that is, by all credible accounts, navigating this challenge with far more composure than the headlines suggest. Queen Camilla continues her role with quiet strength. Prince William continues stepping up. And the king himself, according to reports, remains engaged with the work of the crown even as he focuses on his health. That's the real story. Not tearful hallways and emergency press conferences. A family and an institution managing a difficult chapter, the way families and institutions actually do in real life. Now here's my personal take, and I want to be transparent that this is opinion, not reporting. I think King Charles has handled this with more dignity than many would have predicted. He came to the throne later in life than any British monarch in modern history, already carrying the weight of decades of expectation. To then face a cancer diagnosis in the early months of his reign and still choose transparency over secrecy, that takes something. Whether you're a supporter of the monarchy or not, that kind of composure under pressure is worth acknowledging. The bigger picture here is really about information and how we consume it. Every time a sensational headline drops about the royal family, there's a version of the story underneath it that's quieter, more complicated, and far more honest. The drama of royal life sells, it always has, but the truth, in most cases, is far less cinematic. King Charles is unwell, he is being treated, he is still working, and the monarchy continues to function. That's the update. That's what the doctors and the palace are actually communicating when you strip away the theatrics. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: when you see a headline with the words "urgent update" and "entire palace in tears," do yourself a favor and scroll down past the drama to find the actual statement. It's almost always calmer, clearer, and far more grounded than what got you to click in the first place. And if that saves even one person from a genuinely panicked afternoon,